Welcome to the Pathmonk Presents podcast. My name is Sean Donnelly Lewis, and in today's episode, we're talking with Barry Rodrigues. He is the founder and head of growth at Nexgen Digital. Barry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sean. It's great to be on the show. I've been monitoring you guys for for a month, a little over a month now, and I'm really impressed with your entire podcast series. I think there's a lot of value in the content that you guys are putting out, both in terms of your own content and in terms of the people that you're interviewing. And also, I love the work that you guys are doing as Pathmonk.
Great,
Brilliant,
thanks.
good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for being on the show, obviously. And I totally slipped it. We just talked about it before the show. It's Nexgen Digital. Digital, right? No T, not next. Anybody listening, it's Nexgen Digital. Okay, yeah. Barry, tell us all about it. Tell us everything you want.
Great. I'll just very quickly go through, how Nexgen Digital began. So I was an aspiring entrepreneur for quite a while. Way back when, in fact, I was an entrepreneur when I was in college and stuff, so I didn't do the lemonade stand thing. I was more into the selling. We sold, I was a kid, I was a teenager in the late 90s. So I sold knockoff Panasonic phones, cordless phones, or they were called Panaphones. And I sold them door to door. We went from office to office selling them. And then that's when I realized I have this skill for sales and for just building relationships and stuff. So eventually I got into marketing. My initial aspiration was getting into advertising, because I think towards in the 90s the advertising industry was like it was at its peak. And I grew up, my teenage years were spent in India, and back then there were a couple of figureheads in the advertising industry, and they were like, advertising is the place to be. You had a lot of celebrities, the endorsements, the creativity was at an all-time high for that time. And this is pre-internet. This is actually just at the cusp of when the internet came about and started becoming mainstream. So and then I went to the Middle East, and what happened was I noticed that the Middle East, the advertising was very, very it was only open to traditional Arabic speaking people. So eventually I got hooked into marketing, which actually was my major. Funny enough, in college, I was a marketing major. So when I got into marketing, I started at a logistics company, and I was actually an integral part of that team that grew that company from what it was back then in the late 90s, early 2000s, from a 350 employee company to what then became I think a 22,000 employee company in a span of like 6 or 7 years. And I was part of that process, and I grew along with the company. My employee number was 243, and I remember towards the end of my stint, it was a company called Agility, by the way, and they're in the top 10 or top 20 logistics companies in the world. And towards the end of when I was leaving Agility, I think all the new recruits were getting employee numbers, 11,018 or 17,500, and I was like, man, I'm 243. I'm a 3-digit guy. And that was a big deal. But the beauty of having worked with them was I learned a lot about, not just forget about entrepreneurial skills, but I learned how to the proper essence of networking, the importance of networking, the importance of having a structure in a business, the importance of having a structure in marketing. And these were not not digital marketing as we know it today, but this is more under traditional side of marketing. So we started out traditionally. And I have these discussions with a lot of people, even up until this day. People say, "Are you a traditional marketer or are you a digital marketer?" And I go up and I say, "There's no such thing as a traditional marketer and a digital marketer. A marketer is a marketer because your fundamentals have to be solid. And then if your fundamentals are solid, it doesn't matter whether you're doing marketing on a traditional plane or a digital plane. It's the same thing. I believe that we're marketing in a digital economy, or we're marketing in a digital." In a space where there's a very strong digital ecosystem. So from there, I think it just my passion to do something on my own just grew and grew. And on the side, I was kind of building my experience and building my expertise and my knowledge. And then eventually what happened was towards a time when there was that big shift that had already taken place in the Middle East, and everybody was switched to digital. I was working for a company that was a traditional marketing company, and then eventually it got to a point where when we were doing a lot of digital campaigns for ourselves, I said to the senior management, "Why don't we do all this in-house and see where it goes?" And I'm a big experimenter. So I said, let's do this in-house. Give me 6 months. My team will figure it out. I was leading a team of about 6 or 7, most of whom I had recruited at the time. So I said to the guys, listen, you guys are not, and back then I used to still call them traditional marketers, right? So I said, listen, I know you guys are traditional marketers, traditional graphic designers or whatever, ad buyers, but if you really want to grow and if you want your career to take the next jump, you need to learn digital and you need to do it all by yourself. Because you can go and attend, because back then, this is early 2010, 2012, 13, there weren't a lot of courses online. And even the ones that were around were either too expensive or they were just full of crap. So so everything that we did was all as a result of experimenting. We experimented with Facebook campaigns. We experimented with Instagram campaigns. We just did a lot of trial and error till we became successful. And then it got to a point where we did a bunch of really, really successful campaigns. I remember the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 6s launch campaign that we did was super successful, so much so that our our distributors came to us and said, "Hey, listen, who's the agency that did that campaign for you? Can we work with them?" And we're like, "We did it ourselves." And then from there, it went to we started doing campaigns on the client's behalf. So we started. Basically, we converted a cost center, which was a marketing department, into a profit center. And then, the CEO said, and CEOs and CFOs love this kind of stuff. They're like, we have money coming into the business. Great. How about you go and start pitching for more clients? And we got more clients and we expanded the portfolio. So we got, people in the UK are not familiar with this, but, you guys might know Ace Hardware. So we bagged the client, we bagged the Ace Hardware account, which is really huge. We bagged the Sears account, which was pretty huge. And then from there, we just jumped on to, we got a lot of, local restaurant chains and, local laundromat chains. And we just went on from there. So that's when I realized, and the thing was, we started it from scratch. So the existing team that I had, we upskilled ourselves. We did all the pitches ourselves. We did the account management ourselves. We did, the client servicing ourselves. Everything was done internally. So that's where my passion grew for getting back into that entrepreneurial sort of, trying to experiment with the entrepreneurial streak within me. So when I got to the UK after a bunch of failed interviews, because everyone kept saying, and this is really stupid and annoys me, right? Even up until this date, it's like, oh, your CV looks really good, but you don't have UK experience. And I was like, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, because if somebody's really good at what they do, you can put them in like the worst economy ever, and they're going to be successful as long as your fundamentals are right. So this is what happened. So after about 6 months, I decided, hey, now is a good time. And by the way, Nexgen Digital as a company was registered way before that. I thought I was thinking ahead, right? So I'd registered the company about 5 years before then. It was there, but it was just a dormant company. So I think January of 2019 was when I decided now is like a really good time to activate Nexgen Digital again. And then we started off as a traditional digital marketing company, doing the run-of-the-mill Facebook campaigns and Instagram campaigns, doing content, helping people manage social media. And it wasn't until towards the end of 2019, early 2020, when we realized that there are a lot of startups and SMEs who need help with their entire marketing strategy, right? They know marketing is important, but they don't know where to start. They don't know, they don't know where the gaps are in their marketing, and they don't know how to fill those gaps. So then I think in January of 2020, which is last year, we launched a growth accelerator program, a growth marketing accelerator program. And that is right now, that is our primary product. That is basically a product that is aimed at small and medium-sized businesses and startups. And what it does is it takes creating your marketing strategy, to creating your content strategy, to creating your buyer personas, to mapping out, what your social media channels are going to look like, to testing your landing pages, your conversion optimization, everything, right up to creating your tech stack. So it's essentially, it's a 12-week program. It takes you from A to Z in 12 weeks and everything in between. And it basically, so it does two things. It's a dual prong approach. On one end, it sort of teaches you, it sort of puts the plan in place. It kind of gets the strategy and your framework in place. And on the other hand, it also teaches your existing resources, whether you're employees or whether you want to hire new employees, it teaches them to manage social and digital and content, everything. And then towards the end of the program, the 12 weeks, we kind of marry the two. So basically at the end of the 90 days or at the end of the 100 days, not only do you have a full digital marketing plan in place, or marketing plan, in fact, in place, but you also have capable people in place to run that plan.
Very
So
cool.
while we were doing that, what happened was in January this year, last month, I was doing a LinkedIn webinar, and I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn. I'm very strong on LinkedIn. I put out a lot of content. I engage a lot. So we did a webinar on LinkedIn, and it was meant to just get people all excited to post more content and stuff. And then what happened was, as a result of the webinar, I got a lot of people saying, do you do this as a service? So then I thought, hey, this is a new revenue channel, right? So I asked around, did a bit of a survey, and I realized that there were a lot of people looking to just to optimize their profile, because optimizing your profile is a big deal. It's not something that is to be taken lightly. It is the SEO equivalent of doing a website, optimizing your profile. And then the other thing people wanted us to do was, do you do a full end-to-end managed service, right? So we basically take over your account, we manage your profile, we manage your connection outreach, we manage your engagement, and more importantly, we create or curate content to publish on your behalf on LinkedIn, and we basically grow accounts. So this is actually the main product that we're going to be focusing on for the next couple of months. In fact, hopefully, if everything goes well, we're going to be launching it next week. So the timing could not have been perfect.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, then yeah, people will be able to check it out. It's NEX.
NEXGEN.digital.
Digital, right? And so where does the website play in all this? It sounds like, obviously, there's so much that I want to say, like, to everything that you said. I love that you're talking about who you are kind of coming through. It doesn't matter if you're talking about business 20 years ago, or you're talking about business today, you're talking about business 40 years ago, right? At the end, you're doing business with people and that sort of thing. And even it makes me think, I'm a musician, right? I play guitar. But music is all the same. It's just the medium that you use it, right? So the note that you play on a piano is the same that you're going to play on guitar. It's just learning the tools. It's learning the medium to actually play the melody, if that makes sense. So even like you're saying, like, okay, even though times are changing, it's still that, okay, I just kind of have to update myself and find the medium that's being used, and then kind of express who I am, or express the business through that. I think that's beautiful, and that's brilliant. With the website, I'm just thinking, what role does the website play? You connect with people. You said LinkedIn. I'm sure you guys do SEO. Do you guys do anything with the website to particularly boost your company?
With the website in itself, I'll be honest with you, we have plans of upgrading the website, because right now we were concentrating on developing the LinkedIn managed service product. So there's a separate landing page for that. There's two separate landing pages. One is purely dedicated to the LinkedIn managed service, and the other one is purely dedicated to the LinkedIn profile optimization service. So there's two separate entities, but again, they're connected to the Nexgen Digital website in some way, shape, and form. The idea for the website, because what happens is, we do a lot of UTM tracking and stuff, obviously, being a digital company and all that. And one of the main pathways to get people into PathMonk, one of the main pathways of getting people onto the website is, funny enough, is LinkedIn. And this is purely because of personal branding. And this is one of the things that we coach people on, the importance of when you're developing your LinkedIn persona and all that. Because, and maybe it's a different path. We use the word a lot these last couple of years.
You're using it. I'm not using it. You're using it.
It's subconscious. I'm sorry. But you planted the seeds, right? So here's the deal. So a lot of the times people will think, okay, so I work for a really large company, so I don't need to. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But when you're working for a small company, or especially when you run or when you own a company, it's very different, because then your personality becomes the personality of the company. So whatever content that you're putting out there, be it in the form of LinkedIn updates, or, depending on the job you're in, Instagram or Facebook, or, of late TikTok and Clubhouse and whatever, stereo, whatever content should point towards, I feel it should eventually point towards your website. Because, this is something that I keep telling everybody, social media is rented property, right? You don't own it. You own your website. You can do whatever the hell you want with your website, but you can't really control what, like tomorrow, like I got a decent amount of, followers on LinkedIn. I got really good engagement, but tomorrow, for some reason, LinkedIn says, sorry, Barry, we're going to have to kick you out. I'm going to have to build my data and my infrastructure on something else. And the two
Right.
ways, one of them is obviously the website. The other thing is we are going to be launching a newsletter very soon. And these two things, basically, these are your own properties. This is something that you control. You control the narrative, you control the content. So these are the two things that really help driving traffic into the website, because from the website, then I get people, either sending us you can book a meeting request, you can book a Calendly, appointment, or you could just say, oh, send me some more information. Something that we will be doing very soon is we're going to have a conversion video bubble in embedded somewhere on the website. We've just been too tied up with a lot of other stuff, but the idea is to get people onto the website. The moment they see the bubble, they click on it, there's a video from me or one of somebody else from my team that says, hey, welcome to Nexgen Digital. We do blah blah blah. If you want to do this, click here. If you want to do that, click here. So it's aimed to be it's supposed to be a very interactive experience. And that is the beauty of having a website. Like I believe you guys have that on PathMonk as well. Like if you go to the PathMonk website, you have a video bubble that appears, and I think that's really engaging. And again, I have nothing against chatbots and stuff. Sometimes you just have to do a chatbot, especially if it's a bank that you're dealing with. You don't want to randomly chat with somebody.
Right.
But again, if it's a company like Nexgen Digital, it's a relatively small company. You want to be, it's a cool thing talking to the owner.
Yeah.
Or talking to one of the founders or one of the co-founders, because you're like, wow, because then the users get that experience of, wow, this is a very personable company. There's a co-founder that's actually talking to me right now, and that is a really cool experience. And we're all about, look, like you said at the beginning of this interview, right? It's all about human beings and human interaction. You can say whatever you want to about a business, like a business is a business, but at the end of the day, it's two people doing business. It's not like two robots doing business. It's not T-1000 from Terminator doing business with Sarah, what's her name? It's
Arnie.
Yeah, or with exactly. It is Sean talking to Barry, and so it's all about relationships. And the better, and right now, the way the whole digital ecosystem is evolving, there's so many ways that you can personalize people's customer journeys. You can customize even the initial entry path. You don't, like in the old days, when I say old days, I mean up until 5-10 years ago, you needed to maybe get into the CRM. You needed to become a customer, so you needed to be part of the onboarding process to be able to include video and stuff. But right now, there's so many tools out there. There's tools like Vidyard and SendSpark and I don't know. There's so many tools out there that you can actually do really good video onboarding. You can make use of these tools to do some really good video onboarding, make a good impression with your customers and with your prospects.
Right.
So that's what we aim to do: get people onto the website through external channels, be it our social media, be it LinkedIn, maybe a YouTube video, whatever. And by the way, this is something that we do with our customers as well. Putting out content. Like right now, I'll give you an example. So we have a client that we're doing. They're a B2B client, okay? And they're in the tech space, and they're in the virtualization business, right? So they're virtualizing technical support. So they're making technical support available virtually through cutting edge technologies and stuff. And one of the ways that people can discover them, because this isn't the way people are not really aware of this kind of a solution, right? It's not like digital marketing, which is like a really commonly used keyword that you can key it into Google and you find millions of search results.
Yeah.
But when it comes to virtualization, so it's hard for people to visualize that. So what we're doing is we're trying to tell, we're still in the launch phase, by the way. We're trying to create content that will tell people stories of how somebody got stuck in a particular situation and they had a technical problem that needed solving. They needed remote assistance. And then they called on this particular XYZ company, and that company came, got involved, and they resolved the issue. And it's all about storytelling, right? So storytelling content, and this could be in the form of a blog article. It could be in the form of, I don't know, a video, a social media video, maybe on Facebook. And then the end goal is either get onto your website or book a consultation or book a meeting. That should always be the end goal. Book a meeting. The end goal should always be to take the conversation off of that platform and take it onto email, or take it onto a website, or take it onto a phone call, or hopefully once the pandemic's, the situation gets better, take it onto an actual physical meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all totally great. Just obviously keeping the conversation going with the customer. Um,
Absolutely.
so we are slowly coming to the end, unfortunately. But before we
No worries.
do, I just want to hit you with some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. You ready? You got some deodorant on? You no sweaty palms?
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
no, no. I'm
right.
good.
Just
I'm good.
try
I'm
and make
good.
sure.
I'm good.
All right.
We're
We're
warming up.
hydrated.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
Barry, what was the last book that you read?
Uh Man,
Uh,
I actually read 7 books. I can't remember the last one. Um, the last one I remember was the one by Marie Forleo. Uh, um, Damn, I can't remember. Sorry,
that's all right.
can't
Who was
remember.
it?
Marie Forleo.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the single thing that your company's focused on at the moment?
LinkedIn growth.
Okay. If there were no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing you'd want to have fixed for your company?
No boundaries in technology. Wow, that is a
this
tough
is
one
this is
because
this is as a creative, this is you to just go crazy. Say be able to read people's thoughts. I don't know.
that is actually a good one. I mean, because technology is like a main driver of everything pretty much that we do. But yeah, that's actually a good one, Sean. I mean, yeah, I like to be able. That's like what women want, right? Or like the newer version of what men want right now.
If you were to start the company over again, what would be the one piece of advice you give yourself?
Experiment less and execute quicker.
Okay.
Because I think a lot, and this is a lot of startup people will have the same thing because they keep when you're starting something new, you keep second guessing yourself, and there's a little bit of lack of confidence. I'd say to all of them and to myself, screw that, just go with your instinct.
Yeah.
Obviously, do your research and stuff, but don't dilly dally. Don't wait
Yeah.
too long. Don't overthink things.
No
Just go and do
regrets.
it.
No
Yeah, no
regrets,
regrets.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that was Barry Rodrigues. Barry, thank you so much for being on the show. And before we go, we just want to give you the last
Got
word.
it, Sean. That was everything is figureoutable by Marie Forleo.
Oh,
Marie
okay,
Forleo. Yeah.
everything was figure outable.
Everything is figureoutable. Yeah.
All right, I'll look that up here, see if I can get myself a copy. Sounds like a good
Awesome.
read. If you just want to sum up everything that we talked about today, just for the listener, that just kind of recap everything or talk about what you guys are up to at Nexgen. We just want to give you the last word on the show. Go for it.
Um, well, okay, so I got 2 small messages. One is to the aspiring entrepreneur, because I think a lot of the content that I put out, by the way, on LinkedIn is focused on aspiring entrepreneurs, apart from content and social media and strategy and stuff. And that is my advice is just like I said earlier, just a couple of minutes ago. Don't second guess yourself. If you think you have a good idea and you've got the right support network, just go ahead and do it and start experimenting, because part of that growth strategy is experiment with all the things that you have in your head, all the ideas that you have. Some of them, obviously, you know that 90% of those are probably going to fail, but hopefully if you've done your homework and if you've got the cojones, as they say, the 10% of the ideas that actually do succeed are going to more than make up for the 90% that fail. So that would be my advice to entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and to business owners. Very simply put, obviously, check us out, Nexgen Digital. We're cool. But when you're looking to grow marketing, to grow your business, you absolutely need to focus on marketing right from the get-go. Marketing should be one of the first things that you look at, because I get a lot of calls from people that want to work with us, and I get, when we do their discovery calls, it turns out that they've already sort of figured, or they think they figured out everything about their product, and marketing is like an afterthought. And for me, marketing is like it's like building an amazing resort and then not telling anybody about it, not giving people the address. You got to have people, you got to give people the address so that people find it, right? So
Yeah.
that's what marketing does. Marketing basically is like, it gives the business, it gives your products and services the kickstart that it needs, the boost that it needs. So focus on that. Involve marketers at the grassroots level. Involve marketers right in the beginning, from product creation stage, from the product creation stage onwards. Otherwise, it's just not going to work.
All right, well said, Barry. Thanks a lot for being on the show.
It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Sean.